got this, Deb. So, thanks everybody for joining us tonight with Hometown Stories. And I'm super excited to have Steve here tonight.
Thank you for inviting me, Deb.
Yeah, so we have you tonight. We're doing two cameras. We're doing I see a bunch of people liking
Already,
us.
yes.
I got my glasses on, so
Yep.
we got some people joining us. So we're doing two videos tonight. We're doing the Bly team page, which ultimately that's where we'll be filming all of these. And why is that? Because the Bly team page, because it's a business page, we can boost it. It shares better, and Facebook likes it better when it's on the business page. So.
Yes.
Yeah, my personal page I'm pretty used to, but I'm trying to conform to Facebook because they're the ones that make the rules. But anyway,
Because it's all about business.
it's all about Facebook. But anyway, yeah. So Steve, I've been excited about having you on,
Okay.
and I'd like to have you like once a quarter.
Okay, we can do that.
Every time I hear you talk, and I should know a lot about League City, but nobody knows as much about League City, I swear, I don't think, than you do. Every time I hear you say something, it's amazing to me. And we had a question earlier that somebody had posted. Taylor, if you can look that up so we can ask Steve that question. And if anybody else has questions that come up, I will try and read the camera while, without looking all Google eyes. maybe.
No pun intended?
That's
no
right.
pun intended.
Yeah, without looking all funny.
Yeah.
But tell us about League City and what you know. And I know once you get started, there's no stopping you because there's just so much.
Well, that's because it's a great city.
It's a great city.
It's a great city. It has all kinds of future.
I'm glad you bought your house here.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody told you should do that.
I wonder who sold it to me. I have no idea. Oh, there we go.
It's sorry.
Okay, no, it's crooked.
Yes, it's going to Facebook wrong.
Oh, she says it's crooked.
Oh, we need to readjust.
Oh, we need to do
a
it.
little adjustment here.
No, like the whole video is the wrong way. I'm sorry.
We're having technical
difficulties.
That's what Facebook Live is all about. It's authentic and real, that's for sure. This wouldn't be happening on NBC.
It looks good on this end.
Looks good on this end? It's totally crooked. So anyway, tell us about League City. We'll work around them.
Okay. Well, it's about location, like you guys talk about in your business. Currently, here we go. We're rotating.
What does that mean?
I need it opposite. Y'all keep going.
Okay,
Continue.
hold on. Let's see here.
So
You need to flip it?
Yeah, it's got to flip the other way.
Okay, so we
she says it needs to flip the other way. Man, this'll be a video I get a lot of flack on.
Let's see what we check on now. See how we doing.
Does that fix it? Should make a difference.
Whoopsie.
She says keep going. No.
Hey, wait a minute.
Trying to reconnect.
There we go. Okay. We'll go back and we're good here?
Yeah, I'm not sure. What does that mean?
Somehow, I'm so sorry.
So Facebook wants us straight up and down, is that right?
For some reason.
Okay. Well, that's going to look pretty funky, only because it's on my page. But that's okay. So, hey, Christy, if you'll just stand there and hold it the whole time, we'll be good. I don't think she's going to do that for us. So, Steve, look at that camera. Keep
Okay,
talking.
we'll look at that camera up there. Okay. That one up there? Okay, so like we were saying, location.
Steve Paterson, by the way, is the president
Yeah.
with the League City Regional Chamber of Commerce. A great chamber.
Thank you very much. So location. Okay, let me get my head straight. Turned on here, okay. So, we're 20 some odd miles from downtown Houston.
Yeah.
We're 20 some odd miles from the beach.
Right?
We have water on, two sides of us, and we're right down the I-45 corridor.
Yeah.
And, and we've got a wonderful community. About 85% of the community leaves town every day to go work.
85%, that's a lot.
Of course.
Is anybody surprised by that? Because
And-
that surprised me when I
Right.
first heard about it.
85%, and you know what we really need to do is stop all those folks from having to drive that terrible drive
Yeah.
all the way into the city on I-45 or
Yeah.
Beltway 8 or some of the other things, and get more things happening here.
Mhm.
Now, nice thing about League City is 48% of the state still can be
Mhm.
built out, especially on the west end. But there's a lot of area over here in the old side and east end too,
Mhm.
for open lots for development, and there's been some lot of that property just over the last couple of months. Owners have come up to city commission and asked city council and asked, you know, can we rezone that from residential to commercial, because they see what's going on.
Which is great for the city.
So, you know, just in the last week or two, you know, we just had the grand opening of Memorial Hermann Convenient Care Center there, which is phase 1 of a 3-phase project over at Pinnacle Park. And then also this week, Area Regional Medical Center and Texas Gulf Medical announced that they're going to build 60,000 square feet right there behind Chimichangas. So that just adds to what we call the medical village.
Yeah.
And that's
Which
pretty.
means,
You got UTMB, MD Anderson, Memorial Hermann, and now Bay Area Regional Medical Center. are
but
in
for
that
the
area.
city, what that means is it's not just that it's jobs, it's the tax base to
Yeah.
keep that
Retail
infrastructure
sales.
going is a whole lot cheaper to the city
Yeah.
than building more residential
Right.
development.
As you know, the Economic Development Director of League City, Scott Livingston, gave a presentation to City Council last week and said that nationally, every time you build a rooftop, it costs about $1.20 tax-wise to support that household.
Mhm.
But to support a business only costs 44 cents
Yeah.
for every dollar in taxes.
Yeah, so,
So the more business and the more right kinds of business, you know, just not strip centers or fast food places, but Class A, Class B office space, light manufacturing, warehousing, logistics, all those things that have real well-paying jobs
mhm.
and all those things need to be really looked at in the future, because that's going to offset the residential tax base. Right now, about 85% of the taxes in the city come from residential.
Mhm.
And I know I'm a resident, and it's not going to go down
Right.
unless we do something about it. And how we do something about it is to develop the commercial base of business in this town and create jobs here, so people don't have to drive away to go to work every day, and they can live closer and become more part of their community.
You know, it was surprising to me that you shared last time. So in the Woodlands, the average price per square foot is, I would say, about $20 to $30 a square foot more for a house than it is here in League City.
That's true.
But the average income,
Is less than it is here in League City.
In-
League City,
in League City, the
League City has a
average-
higher per capita income than Woodlands does.
yeah, that surprised me.
And this is the other thing, is that education-wise,
Yeah.
80 plus some odd percent of people in League City over the age of 25 have a bachelor's degree or more in education. So we're a really well-educated
A
community.
lot smarter than I am.
And I saw a thing the other day come out, and I'm going to verify it, but I saw this thing on, I think it was on LinkedIn, that League City is now rated the 7th fastest growing city in the United States.
In the United States.
In the United States now.
That'd be some good data to get.
But when you're growing this fast, you need plans.
I was going to say, if you're going that fast, you need to do it a little carefully. And
Because if we don't, we'll be looking in 10 years, we'll look just like South Houston does, and I don't think anybody in League City wants that.
I don't know if we had great plans, as great a plans as we should have had in the past. How do you feel about how we're moving forward right now?
I feel really good about it. We just finished 14, almost 15 months. We're actually still working on a segment of it, but we formed a memo of understanding with the city to form a task force on creating a master plan for the city and looking at all the problems that were going on, because we had a lot of developers looking at the city. There was a lot of complaints about, well, it's hard to build here. We're not, you know, there's a lot of things. Some of that was true. You know, we went through about a 3 or 4 month part of discovery process in the task force, which was made up of a group of about 30 people from the business community and from the government circles, and all participated. And out of that has come a white paper that is actually going to be going to City Council after it is reviewed this week by the task force, City staff has already looked at it and made put their input into it. And so we'll be rolling that out to the city council to take a look at, to adopt in, hopefully parts of it, or all of it, into the strategic operating plan that they're currently working on for the city. Because you have to have a plan, you have to figure out how you're gonna pay for it, and you have to have the tools to back it up. And one of the things I'm excited about that came out of the master plan is this new way of looking at economic development, where, you know, you hear all these stories about, and it happened in this city with Cabela's, with a 380 agreement, incentives to get people to build here. Well, you know, because we have location, and because organically we're growing, you saw the same thing happen in Webster with Costco just recently. They gave incentives, but $6.2 million in infrastructure. It wasn't a handout, it wasn't a tax rebate, it wasn't any of that. It was flat cash. And the nice thing about that is that money is an investment, because say 15 years from now, Costco goes belly up. Well, you got a building there, and you got roads that you can always put something else there. So you got something for your, you know, you're investing in the future. And League City's going to start looking at that, where we call it the investment box, and for economic development. And it's going to work in such a way that project comes to us and they want to see what we can do as a partner with those businesses. So what happens is we put that project in the box and we test it. If it doesn't meet all the parameters of what we want for development in the city, we reject it. It has to be good for the city, it has to be good for the taxpayers, it has to be good for the developer, it has to be a win-win-win. And if it isn't, you know, we're not going to incentivize somebody else to do things. And, you know, the other thing that's coming out of the task force is recommendation on zoning. Currently in League City, you have basically, it's not this simple, but it's pretty simple. You have 6 different zoning codes. You've got commercial mixed use, residential mixed use, light industrial, industrial. So what does that mean? So for example, just down the street here in the historic district, if somebody wanted to buy one of those old buildings right now, and they wanted to buy it and bulldoze it down, there's nothing that says they can't put a gas station right there.
Right.
So
based on where we currently
just the way we are. So wouldn't it be good if we took the historic district and said, we're going to zone it historical urban renewal, which means that it keeps the way it looks, the buildings have to be put in place, you have to invest, and if not, you're going to file for special use permits, and then you're going to pay capital impact fees that are going to be pretty heavy. That will probably even negate building something like a gas station. So it's time for the city to really have some tools where it can control the way the growth will be, so it benefits everyone who lives in the city, instead of the developers coming in and developing the way they want to.
Right.
It gives the city the ability now to have a say at the table and how the city will be developed.
The other thing I was going to bring up, and we went through this, when was that vote where we were talking about the quarter-cent sales tax?
Quarter-cent sales tax,
It
yeah.
was about 3 years ago. So I think what the city heard is we're going to get taxed more.
Which is, you're not really getting, you know, what that quarter-cent sales tax is a consumer tax. If you go to Baybrook Mall right now and you buy something there, you pay a quarter cent, and the city of Houston benefits.
Right.
To their economic.
So in other words, you go to the mall over Baybrook Mall, and you jump into, say, Payless, and you buy pair of shoes. You're going to pay a 1/4% more for that pair of shoes over in Baybrook Mall than if you come to League City. You'll actually save a quarter. That 1/4% will be saved here in League City.
Right.
You think that's stopping anybody from shopping over at Baybrook Mall?
I haven't seen any news. I haven't seen any ads on TV or in the Chronicle or or the Bay Area Citizen or the Daily News saying shop League City because you can save a 1/4 cent.
So what's Webster doing with that 1/4 sales tax?
Well, that helped pay for those roads and infrastructure that are going into Costco.
So that was all paid by
Absolutely.
the consumers, not by the homeowners.
No, and by some of the folks here in League City, because Baybrook Mall's number one shopper group at Baybrook Mall comes from 77573.
Number one shopper group over in Baybrook Mall, if
League
you
City.
didn't hear that clear, was
City.
in League City. So we're spending that 1/4 sales tax, and we're giving it to Webster, so Webster can encourage more growth instead of keeping that here in our city.
Yeah, and I
Is
mean,
that-
and it's a
is that
consumer
too
tax.
simple?
No, it's a consumer tax. I mean,
Yeah.
we pay it everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, in some states you even pay more.
Right.
You know, the thing that was really disturbing to me, even though I was for the quarter sales tax, is at the time the quarter cent sales tax was being put forward, there was no plan. There was no plan to use that money.
And I think that's probably the biggest reason it failed.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You know, now, hopefully, you know, with the strategic operating plan that the city's looking at, the master plan's being put forward, and with this investment model, you know, if that quarter cent sales tax does come up on the ballot again, and the city, you know, citizens of the city deem it's a good investment and pass that tax, then that tax can be used. And truth be known about that tax, it's very similar to the 4B money that you have in Parks and Recreation. So that money can only be spent in specific ways, and it has to be overseen by our board. So it's just not the city council's money to do
What they want to do.
what they want to do. The board has to make that money invest into those projects. So it is that's by state statute. So, you know, there was a lot of stuff floating around last time that wasn't really true. It was a lot of hearsay, rumor stuff. But you know, League City now is the only city in the Houston Metroplex that does not have a quarter cent sales tax.
Well, we didn't have Facebook Live back then
Mhm.
to get the truth out, but now Facebook Live's there, so just messing.
Yeah. But it's
Messing.
important to the city's future. But
I think so.
you know, but even
Well,
without that,
it gives us a financial disadvantage, and really not at a cost to us when you look at the biggest spender over at Baybrook Mall is 77573.
Yep.
So.
And by the way, the general manager for Baybrook Mall will be our next speaker at the Economic Development Luncheon in March.
Fantastic.
So he's going to come in and talk about the whole expansion and how that took place and how that was paid for.
Yeah.
and their future. They still have more land to develop there.
That's amazing.
And they're going to develop even more. And now in square footage, I understand it's larger than Galleria. So, you know, that's, you know, and what that means is Baybrook Mall is a tourist attraction.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we've got now the Lone Star Flight Museum here. We've got Space Center Houston, which has done a lot of upgrades and a lot of things in the last year. Then you've got the cruise lines, busting all kinds of numbers and new boats coming in and stuff like that.
So how does that help Lake City?
Well, League City again is in the right spot because you can arrange different trips the day before you go out on a cruise or the day after you come back on a cruise. There's going to be 2 new hotels built here, adding another 200 rooms to a little over 200 rooms to the marketplace here in the next year or so. And then you've got all these different venues. Then you've got all these new restaurants that are going to open up over in Pinnacle Park. You've got Abuela's, and you've got the Olympia Grills coming up from the island, opening up a spot there, as well as some other restaurants that are looking at the area and doing different things. So this is going to become a destination spot. And you know, the city just started a CVB this year that's starting to work pretty well together. And then they reinvested in the Bay Area CVB, both of which we have a tourism committee on the chamber that works with both and to help them in some things. So we've got some destination marketing projects underway right now where we're looking at how do we benefit from Houston Hobby International. And the project, we call it Project Right Hand Turn. And the whole idea behind it is when you come out Airport Boulevard at Hobby, instead of turning left, you go to the Galleria in the Woodlands, turn right, come down to Galveston, and come down here and see what there's to do in Baybrook Mall.
Yep.
So we're starting that kind of marketing program. And then Bay Area CVB is getting to launch a really cool promotion called Vacation for the Bay Area, which are really, really good. I've seen a preview of some of the TV commercials for it. And the guy who does the Texas Day Tripper on PBS is the guy that does the overage on the different things on the commercials. Quite exciting. So yeah, there's all kinds of great things happening in Lake City right now.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be. And you know, when you go all the way up 517, just remember that when you're going up 517, that almost all the way to Alvin, that's still Lake City.
Yeah.
And all that prairie out there still can be developed. So there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, we're about, what, 50%?
Yeah, there's about 48% of the cities left to develop.
Less than halfway built out.
Yeah. You know, the projections are that the city could be, currently it's 106,000. which is pretty amazing when you think about it. That in 1991 there was only 30,000 people here. So grow by 70,000, more than tripled in that time period. But the city could eventually, if it was to blow up totally with rooftops on plans, could have somewhere between 200 and 235,000 people in the city, which makes us a huge city. And with that comes a lot of challenges. I mean, one of the things that City Council is really challenged with right now is infrastructure. Not only do we have every road in the city tore up because of TxDOT, which is a whole nother story. Especially when they're going to start construction on FM 146 at the bridge starting in May. And they're already doing some structural work out there. Seabrook just had to close their public boat ramp, and they're not rebuilding it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it won't reopen. So that's going to cause a problem, and with all the construction. And then with I-45 on this side, Five Corners just finished, and that seems to be working pretty good right now.
For the time being.
Yeah, for the time being, until we grow even more. But we're basically going to be an island in a sea of construction around us for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think
so. That's challenging. And then you look out west, and when it grows out west, there needs to be a lot of north-south roads put in. And if you look at the master plan for the city that was originally put out there, the road like Landing Boulevard, Calder, Maple Leaf, Bay Area Boulevard are all going to curve and become north-south roads, and will intersect with the Grand Parkway when it gets built, and then also all the way down to 517. So that, and then there's of course City Council right now is talking with TxDOT and the county about either a bridge at Palomino or one at the landings right now to get over to the other side, and then a flyover over there to 528 to alleviate some of the traffic on 518.
a lot of
There's
change.
a lot going on.
A lot of change coming this way. A lot of stuff happening today.
Yeah.
Hey, Taylor. See, we're in the soundproof room. But I think she said Dan had a question, and she held that up to me 10-15 minutes ago. I'll catch her attention here in a minute.
But so we have a lot going construction. We have the medical village, and what's happening there, which will start drawing a lot of things. Another project that we're embarking on with a couple of our partners at Bay Area Houston Economic Development Partnership and the Galveston Economic Development Partnership, the county and the city, is along with UTMB, is something called Project I-Squared, or the Innovation Interstate Corridor, where we're looking at a branding campaign for development purposes to draw the right kinds of business, which again, League City sits in the center of, all the way from Hobby International all the way to the island. And because we have an educated workforce and the engineers and stuff we have we've identified about 40 companies already. Or startups, innovation startups.
Well, all the medical that's coming in
All
here
the medical
too.
has come, biotech, and everything else. So this area is ripe for incubators and investment. And we have the schools. I mean, we've got 3 great community colleges. Maybe take Alvin, we have 4 great community colleges. And then we've got we've got Texas A&M here, got UTMB, and you got University of Houston Clear Lake. And we got 4-year institutions here. So we have a really good educational partnership that we can work on workforce development. And then if we can find the capital and the right kind of infrastructure in place, up and down the corridor, this area, just like Katy is known as the energy corridor, this area can become the innovation corridor of Houston. All the pieces are here. It's just a matter of managing it and getting the right people to work together. And I think we do. I think we have great people in places right now that really have a vision like this to see this.
No, I agree with that, and I think things, I would say, just in the last 4 or 5 years have dramatically changed.
Yep. It's going to be just hang on and go for a ride. I mean, it's
well, a lot of what helped us too is when I came in, because initially that's how UTMB found its home here, right?
Yeah, because
they had to get off the island.
Well, that's what the whole thing was. They found out, is that at one point they were even going to close it down and we're going to rebuild. But now they've done a wonderful job down the island. But that rebuild's done, and UTMB's eye now is on League City, and here, and actually in Brazoria over in Angleton, and what they can do here. But the campus you see there today where MD Anderson is, and you see the new parking garage go up, which is only phase 1 of the parking garage. It has like 700 parking spots. Now, when they're finished with the parking garage totally, they'll have 2,100 parking spots. That'll give you an idea of what they're expecting as a workforce.
I tell you, the next, you need to kind of bird dog me and pinpoint me, because there's so many to choose from, I wouldn't even know which one, but a really good speaker on here next is, I've been coming to the Coffee with the President meetings over there, and the stuff that's happening in our medical field right here in our back door is
World class.
it blows me
It's
away.
like science fiction.
It is science. No, it is. It's and it's right here in
It's
the
right
back
here,
door.
right here.
It's,
We've had some amazing speakers on everything from the world of vaccinations to cancer breakthroughs to 3D printing using T cells to creating artificial organs. I mean, using 3D printing to map out tumors before doctors go in and do surgery.
What is going on over there is really top notch.
And and UTMB is really big in innovation. They have a whole building down in the outlets dedicated just to innovation and innovation labs, and they encourage all their scientists and doctors to, if they need a lab or something like that, to ideas they want to flush out and do stuff, it's there.
Yeah.
And we think that can continue up here. I mean, it's like I coined the phrase is that the great thing about League City is it really is the home in Houston for not only outer space, but inner space. So we got both sides covered. We got going to Mars, and we have our own fantastic voyage going on here with going on the medical side. So it's a real blessing to be in this community with what we have.
And I tell you what, there's a lot to be said for quality of life. When you look at, previously you have all these great, wonderful people, and they were driving down to Galveston, which isn't that far, but a lot of League City is still driving to Houston and the north side of Houston. But now, as we're getting a lot more of this business coming right here in our city, quality of life to have your workspace environment right at your back door.
Yeah, the optimum thing.
That's pretty rare.
Well, what we want to drive to is, you want to be able to, live here, work here, play here. Right. So we have a great group called Young Navigators, Young Professionals in the chamber now, and and we're starting to get a lot of people who live here, live in these neighborhoods, young professionals, shoot up to Houston, work there all day, come back in their little suburban household, go in and don't know what to do, and somehow they found out that we've got this professional group, and every time we do one of these gatherings with these young professionals, we always see about 20, 25 new faces of people who heard or somebody told them about that, because they want to learn about their community, they want to get involved in their community, and they want to start networking with people in their age groups, instead of just going home and saying, oh my God, I'm down another day and go to work again. And doing stuff. So we are starting to see that kind of quality of life. We're starting to see community knitting taking place and doing things. So, the idea is to communicate to the HOAs, hopefully better, through the chamber and other sources, and through City Matters, the city newsletter, about the great things that are going on in the city. So when you come home and you want to do something, here's a list of what you can do at events and stuff like that. So.
Cool beans. Well, listen, as you guys go through the week, if you do pop up with any questions, we'll share this on your page, or you can share it on your page.
Or you can email me at steve@leaguecitychamber.com. It's pretty simple.
Right.
Any question you have or any comment, love to hear from you guys. If you want to know more about the Chamber of Commerce, swing by, come and see us, see what we're all about. We have right now over 15 active committees, different committees, working on different projects. We continue to grow. We're recognized as one of the fastest growing chambers in the state of Texas.
I believe that.
Now.
Yeah.
And if you want to find out more what's going on about the chamber, go to our website, www.leaguecitychamber.com, and go over to the tab where it says Media, and pull down, and you can see copies archived of our magazine called Momentum. It talks about everything that's going on in the chamber in the area and what our members do, and different things. So come visit us, come see what we do, and at the end of the month, as you said, Deborah, I believe it's on the 28th this month, on Tuesday at UTMB at 8:30 in the morning is Coffee with the President, and we have a nice little gathering there. UTMB is our
I
sponsor for the
think
year.
that's the 27th, but
27th, 28th, it's on the
Something
count.
like
It's one of
that.
those on the count.
Yeah.
But it's the end of the month. It's the last Tuesday of the month. So
Yeah.
whatever the last Tuesday of the month is. And come by and see what's new about your chamber and what's going on in your community, and meet a lot of great people with members just like we have with Deb Bly and the Bly team.
yeah. Well, hey, I want to say congratulations to all of you guys that are tuned in here for living in such an awesome city. So I really think it's one of the best, and congratulations. I think you made a wise choice.
I think so too. I know I did.
Take care.
Take care.
Oh, by the way, I'm signing out now for a minute. I'm going to go hustle on up. And Michelle Hatmaker, who was on our Facebook Live Hometown Stories here, about 3 weeks ago?
3 weeks ago.
She's doing a little event, a kind of social get to know her better, and she's going to be doing Facebook Live. So they invited me over to come narrate that for her. So I'm going to hustle up and be over there doing that next, so you guys can tag up with me in another 15-20 minutes or so. I'll see you again.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Thanks.